power, baby. It's all in there.
Let's get it.
Somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in trouble.
Is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. That's a tremendous fight.
Manny Pacquiao has just confirmed that his age won't stop him from knocking out Mario Barrios on July in his return to the boxing ring, and the talks of retirement are being drowned out by him training in his camp. At 46, most fighters are either behind a commentary desk or comfortably retired with their legacies sealed in bronze. But Pacquiao has made it clear he will not be sitting around. He's putting in the work and preparing for war with the intensity of a man half his age to hurt him, which has the entire boxing world reacting.
Another star in the welterweight division. There is.
Well, it depends if Pacquiao comes back.
Well, he's not going to beat Barrios, is he? So
there's a real possibility.
There's absolutely no chance in the world that he beats Barrios. I mean,
Barrios has been beat multiple times.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look, Pacquiao's still top 20, top 30 guy in the world, but he couldn't beat Mario Barrios. But listen, if he does, fantastic. But right now, the biggest name in the division by...
Terms for the bout were finalized after face-to-face meetings in the Philippines between Pacquiao, Barrios' representatives, and PBC. The WBC's Mauricio Sulaiman has already sanctioned the fight. The date is July 19th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Pacquiao's team is still holding off on the final announcement until after the Philippine Senate elections on May 12th, where he's a candidate.
As of now, Mario Barrios is the WBC champion, so who is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. That's a tremendous fight. There's a final elimination taking place in North Africa, New Guinea, with Chisoko. And there's just many interests in the division. It's a great weight category.
I didn't know about Manny Pacquiao, so is this something is it?
Regardless of whether he wins a seat or not, the fight is happening. He's already back in training, and people inside the camp say he's not slowing down. The plan is to start his proper camp 30 days out from fight night with Freddie Roach at the Wildcard Gym in LA. That's all Pacquiao says he needs. At 46, he's confident a month is enough to prepare for 12 rounds against a fighter in his physical prime.
This whole shit with Pacquiao and Barrios, man. Mauricio just want those little sanctioning fees, man. That's all it is. They just want a little sanctioning fees off that Pacquiao purse. I'm not with it. I don't think it's cool. You know, there's other people that kind of deserve that a little better. I personally wanted Boots and Barrios to clash. We know he got a fight on the way. You know what I'm saying? But it's just stupid.
Manny feels good and that he still has it in him to compete at that level. A source close to Pacquiao told The National. He feels he can still fight 2 or 3 more times this year, next year, and maybe even into 2027. He's not approaching this as a farewell fight. This is the beginning of a new campaign in the welterweight division. He wants to fight more than once, possibly twice or 3 times before retiring completely. He's not pretending to be an influencer boxer. He's going for world titles again. Pacquiao is not trying to collect a check for sparring someone on YouTube. He wants to be a world champion again at 46. That should have sounded delusional. But for Pacquiao, nothing about this feels out of place. The public doubts are expected.
Yo, so why is Mario Barrios fighting a 50-year-old and not Jerome Boots Ennis? See, this is the problem with boxing. Y'all over here fighting retired fighters and over the hill as washed-up fighters. Where are the 50-50 fights?
Mario Barrios is 28, coming off a strong win streak, and a natural welterweight with youth, size, and activity on his side. There were talks about hosting the fight in the UAE, particularly Abu Dhabi. Pacquiao has deep ties to the region, from business investments to a golden visa in Dubai. Just last November, he held an exhibition at Global Village and stayed for New Year celebrations at the Burj Khalifa. He even announced plans to open a boxing academy and museum in Dubai. We are working right now. Probably after this week we can finalize everything for the fight here in Abu Dhabi, Pacquiao told The National recently. We were planning to fight in the United States in July, but why not here? Bring Barrios here. It's going to be the 3rd week of July in Abu Dhabi for a world championship.
About Conor Benn fighting Manny Pacquiao, and now we're talking about him fighting for a world title. When was the last time Manny Pacquiao had a professional fight? Yeah, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't know.
Was it somebody after Keith Thurman?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's been a while.
How how can you fight for a WBC world title? It makes a mockery of the championship. So, I don't know. Look, Mario Barrios should be fighting Boots. But they don't want this fight. And
That plan never materialized. Las Vegas became the final option because that's where world title fights belong. If Pacquiao is going to chase a belt again, it has to be in Vegas. There's no way around it. The wildcard gym, the press circuit, the broadcast infrastructure, it all points to the US. So it's Vegas in July. The Philippine elections end in mid-May, giving Pacquiao roughly 2 months to sharpen his camp in Los Angeles. He's done it dozens of times. Even now, he's ahead of schedule. Despite the media silence, his training isn't on hold. The camp is unofficially underway, and sources confirm that he's already sparring heavily and working on speed, movement, and cardio. Critics are questioning the timing, the age gap, and the layoff.
Pacquiao been negotiating the fight and everything, and I'ma just be real honestly, man, I don't care for this fight. Because I don't care to see Manny Pacquiao back fighting again in the ring. Like it serves no justice seeing Manny Pacquiao after we just seen him fight in the exhibition and was not looking good at all in this exhibition. Like he did not look good in the exhibition fight at all. So I really don't want to see Manny Pacquiao fight Mario Barrios.
But to many, these are the same critics that said the same thing before Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman in 2019. Thurman was undefeated, a full-blown welterweight, 10 years younger, and expected to knock Pacquiao out. Instead, Pacquiao dropped him in round 1, hurt him to the body late, and won the fight clearly. That was at age 40.
And I'm going to do my best to rise back to the top. So that night, I just felt a little bit of pressure. I knew that I was capable of more, and it was time to show it. So if that came right after the 5th round, that's all it was about, man, is that there was a little bit of hesitation going on, a little bit of a slow start. Things weren't happening my way, and I had to do what I had to do to show the fight fans that Thurman doesn't show up just to perform, that I show up to win each and every time.
Saturday night that, you still have the speed and the power of it.
Bob Santos, Barrios' trainer, isn't downplaying the danger either. He respects Pacquiao's skill set and sees him as a legitimate threat even now. Manny has earned the right for everything he's done in the sport, said Santos. A lot of people talk about he's 46 now. Well, y'all are the same people that said he was 40 or 41 before he beat Keith Thurman. So he's earned that right if he wants to fight for a world title. He's shown he still has good hand speed. I've seen some of his workouts, so if this is something he wants to do, you have to take it very seriously.
When you set a boxing like...
Woo! Woo! The speed is still there. Woo!
Santos is right. Pacquiao didn't look like a broken fighter in his last performance. He looked like a guy with the wrong opponent and not enough time. 3 years later, he's rested, healthy, and still a freak of nature. There are athletes who age like milk and others who age like granite. Pacquiao is the latter. There's no reason to think he'll fall apart in the ring unless Barrios takes him to deep water and overwhelms him with youth and volume, but that's easier said than done. He knows how to set traps, Santos said. Remember, all it takes is one punch in this sport. People forget that. A guy like Manny could be explosive in 1 round and it could be good night, Irene. So we've got to be on our P's and Q's for 12 rounds.
I don't know. I don't know if they exist. I don't know where the money would come from.
Who's paying the Pacquiao tax?
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. All I know is that it just seems the guy's almost 50 years old. I mean, come on. Was he 46, 47 years old?
Could he beat Barrios?
No. Can't beat anybody at this point.
Barrios is no pushover. He fought Gervonta Davis at 140 and gave him problems until Tank stopped him. He moved up and took the tough fights, including Keith Thurman. He lost that one, but since then, Barrios has looked better, stronger at welterweight, more confident, and finally putting things together. According to Santos, you have Mario Barrios, who is on the best run of his career. He's coming into his own as a fighter in a weight class he needs to be in for his fight. A Mexican who is going to bring in all the Mexican fight fans with his style. And one thing about Barrios, he doesn't duck or dodge anybody. He comes to fight and he puts on great fights.
Manny Pacquiao is negotiating with Barrios to fight at 147. No tears. I haven't heard one tear. So guess what? Since we know that Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao has been in serious negotiations, let me ask you, is it a good fight? Mario Barrios versus Tank Davis at 147? Yes, it is. That fight was a struggle, and if Mario Barrios wasn't weight drained with the rehydration clause at 140, think about 147.
Sean Gibbons, Pacquiao's longtime advisor and the head of MP Promotions, has spoken with certainty. Barrios is definitely the target. Barrios checks the boxes that matter for a comeback. Beatable, marketable, stylistically convenient. And the way Gibbons frames it, this isn't a reckless swing into the void, this is a calculated strike. It's a 50-50 fight, he says, but a very winnable one for Manny. That line carries weight. Gibbons knows full well the dangers involved when you push a 46-year-old body into battle with a hungry, belt-holding 29-year-old. Yet he still believes, not in nostalgia, in timing.
I don't got Manny Pacquiao top 5.
You
reason
don't?
why he's not up there.
But
You
why?
should know that reason.
It's your interview.
Man, Manny's a generational talented fighter. Like, he's accomplished what no other fighter is ever going to accomplish.
Yeah.
Again, but I don't feel like, he did it on his own. That's me personally, because for the
Barrios is the perfect fighter. He's there to be hit. He brings it. He wants to mix it up. What Gibbons is banking on is that Barrios is the type of fighter who plays into Pacquiao's old rhythm. The constant movement, the explosive bursts, the southpaw angles that leave opponents swiping at air. And more importantly, that Manny's reflexes are still intact enough to capitalize. But Gibbons didn't stop there. He doubled down on the belief that Pacquiao is aging like fine wine. He hasn't lost his speed, power, or passion, he said, calling back to the kind of words we've only heard around the likes of Bernard Hopkins or George Foreman.
I remember when I fought Errol Spence, and he was the first fighter to ever stop me, and everyone was asking, man, I mean, he must hit harder than Pacquiao and Rusan. And I said, no, actually, he doesn't hit harder than either. They both hit harder than him. Well, how did he stop him? Like, he hit me with a lot. It wasn't the one punch. It was the number of punches that he landed on me that was able to get me out of there.
If I didn't think he could fight at the highest level, I would advise him against it. That kind of talk is not cheap from a man who's stood ringside through the highs and the lows, from Margarito to Marquez. If Gibbons is wrong, he'll be the first to catch heat. But he's not wavering. Team Barrios, for their part, isn't ducking or playing hard to get. They're in. A win over Manny Pacquiao, even a 46-year-old one, is a career-altering badge. It's a legacy. It's money. It's a headline that lasts forever. Very interesting fight, they've called it. That's usually boxing code for the payday's big and the risk is manageable.
Okay, what's harder? To be 50-0 or to be A division champion? A division, I think so too. Because 50-0, you could be 50-0 if you have the right promoter and they pick the right opponents.
Yeah, you could be 50-0 and not become a world champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's that guy from Thailand? He's 52-0 and we don't know his name. I don't know his name. I wouldn't know him if he walked in the gym right now.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It's so hard to become a world champion. It's so hard.
But not everyone is clapping along. Amir Khan has been around too long to pretend this is all sunshine and legacy. In Saudi Arabia, Khan spoke candidly, no filter, no diplomacy. It shocked me a little bit. For someone who once circled a mega fight with Manny that never materialized, Khan's insight lands with a particular sting. He knows Barrios well. He's watched him grow sharper, meaner, more complete. And for all Pacquiao's greatness, Khan is clear-eyed. Barrios has been looking really good in his last couple of fights, he said, pointing to a key contrast. Manny obviously lost his last fight.
Manny at one point. So then to go and train in the same thing was like, hold on, is he?
What's going on
Yeah,
there?
is he trying to fight him or was he trying to get on the set? Because Manny was a joke at that point
Manny
as well.
Manny was a beast, bro. And I used to spar with him, and I
But that's why I think people thought that's a.
At 29, Barrios has the endurance, the momentum, the sharpness that only comes with consistency. His most recent showing, a split draw with Abel Ramos, wasn't his best, but it kept the belt around his waist and his name relevant in a stacked welterweight scene. Yet Pacquiao remains defiant. There's no backing away, no tone of uncertainty. I want to go out making history, he told ESPN, reminding everyone that when he beat Keith Thurman at age 40, he rewrote what was possible for a smaller, aging fighter. That win gave him a sense of immortality, and he's chasing that feeling again. The desire isn't about staying relevant, it's about rewriting the narrative. Again.
Manny Pacquiao getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it definitely has to do with money. 1, 2,
I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch.
Still, Khan and many others keep sounding the alarm. Why does Manny need to come back? He asked, his tone walking the line between respect and worry. With Manny, I think he's way past that age where we don't want him to get hurt. That's the risk. That's always been the risk. Boxing isn't tennis. It's not a sport you play into your late 40s without consequence. He's always one punch away from getting hurt, Khan warned. He's only getting older. Then came the shocker. When told Pacquiao is actually 46, Khan nearly choked on his own math. Wow, so almost 50, older than I thought.
Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao are in talks for the WBC welterweight title fight. They want to do it in Vegas. Pacquiao is 45 and hasn't competed since August 2021 in a decision loss. Mario Barrios is definitely trying to stat pad at this point. In a stacked welterweight division, you can fight Crawford. If you don't want to fight someone who's coming off a W, fight Spence Jr.
That moment, more than any breakdown or stat, captures the emotional stakes. This isn't just about who lands more jabs or whose footwork looks sharper. It's about survival, dignity, legacy, all hanging on whether a 46-year-old can outrun time for one more night. Even with all the concern, Khan circled back to the one reason everyone keeps holding on: style. Styles make fights, he admitted, and against Barrios, Pacquiao might just have the right recipe if his reflexes haven't gone stale. He has a good chance of winning, Khan conceded, but like I said, he's always one punch away from getting hurt.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that.
It wasn't just a failed negotiation. It was a reminder of how fragile the business side of boxing can be. If it's someone like Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, or Oscar, you know what's going to happen, Khan explained. But when it's a third-party investor, things get murky, unstable. The kind of environment that kills fights before the contracts are even printed. So that chapter closed. And while Pacquiao prepares for another ride under the lights, Khan isn't feeling the same fire. He last fought in 2022 and has flirted with the idea of returning, but admits that the hunger isn't quite there. I occasionally feel the itch, he said, but he knows the grind it takes to get to a world-class level. It's not just about the money or the fans, it's about living in the trenches again. And Khan isn't sure he's ready for that kind of war anymore.
Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year, and every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, you know, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again?
Meanwhile, another subplot is brewing. Conor Benn, the man whose star rose even in defeat. After dropping a decision to Chris Eubank Jr. in what many are calling the fight of 2025, Benn is hotter than ever. The brutal back-and-forth war with Eubank Jr. lit up arenas and timelines alike. And despite the loss, Benn's name is everywhere.
Look, you're talking to a legend here, Conor. You're talking to a Hall of Famer, somebody who's done so much in the sport. What makes you think you can beat this man?
He's a legend of the game. You can't knock him for that. 8th Division World Champion. But it's my time.
Why take on a young lion like Conor Benn?
You know, I'm giving him a chance to have to experience like...
Now the matchmaking machine is in overdrive. Eubank rematch? Maybe. A return to welterweight? Possible. Fights against the likes of Barrios, Jaron Ennis, Ryan Garcia, all on the table. But what about Manny? The idea has been floated and Benn isn't dodging it. When asked if he'd be interested in facing Pacquiao, he didn't scoff. But he was honest. He's past his sell-by date, but he's still a legend, Benn told Sky Sports. One of the greatest of all time.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios? Okay, if this was for a massive bag, I get it. But you're fighting for a non-pay-per-view event, so you're going to be fighting for free against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Why? There are plenty of other fights to be making. But yet we're getting Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is Manny Pacquiao even ready to fight in the ring? Why is he? I get he still loves the sport, but listen, you are an all-time great, a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return?
That kind of blunt respect defines this new generation. They admire the legends, but they don't flinch at the idea of knocking them off. Ben added, "We're at different spectrums of our career now. He's nearly done. I'm just getting started." That contrast is stark. Ben is 28. He's fresh. He's a marketable beast. Pacquiao is 46, fighting shadows, memories, and the clock. And yet the allure remains. That's the Pacquiao effect. Even in decline, he draws interest from names young enough to be his sons, because he's still Manny.
I met with Ben Shalom yesterday. You know, we're negotiating that fight. Whether we get there or not, we'll have to see. Conor's either fighting Barrios or Eubank. That's it. So 50-50.
So now we wait. The plan is Barrios, July, one more run at history. But around the corner are more questions than answers. Does Manny have one more miracle left in him? Or will Barrios, the young, motivated champion, be the one to finally shut the door that no one else dared close? What do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.